Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. So, yesterday, because you're seeing this on Tuesday, the trial started in New York for the former guy. So, from what I understand, I wasn't able to follow it that closely during the course of the day. Had other things going on. But from what I understand, the prosecution sort of started off with he's violated the gag order. And I'm not quite sure what was going on there, but for some reason, there isn't going to be a ruling on that for a few days, which I don't quite get. In any case, they have started picking the jury. They're moving through that process. And so I thought I would just take a peek, kind of jump into the courtroom energy and see what's going on there and what things look like and you know, just see. So come along with me. I'm going to go travel to that courtroom and see what's going on. All right. So the first thing I want to say is that um, Trump's energy is it's low. It feels now. I know there was some talk about was he actually falling asleep? Was he nodding off? What was going on there? I just know when they show close up pictures of him and I focus on it, he looks like drained. Now, okay, let's be honest. If most of us had a federal criminal case upon us, we probably didn't sleep well the night before that, or the night before that. So part of it, that low energy feeling I'm getting could just literally be that sense of him not being in a rested body. There's also it's interesting. It's an interesting energy because there's this sort of really like lethargic feel, but yet there is like a slow burning rage that is sort of in his solar plexus in his stomach area. He truly cannot even understand how come all of a sudden his world is sort of imploding. He keeps getting dragged into court. He has all these legal problems. It used to be in the course of Trump's life that yeah, people sued him and whatever, but by and large, he went after them. He tied them up in court. He flooded them with documents or whatever it was, so that the average person could not fight him. They just did not have the financial resources to sort of fight a good fight against him. And so for him, he views going to court as something that by and large kind of he wins at. And if he doesn't win at it, well, then right towards the end, he settles, he throws money at the situation, whatever. Well, he can't do that in this case. This is a criminal case. And so he's it's almost as if he's having trouble like processing mentally what is going on and why it is going on for him now. Now, I can't make any judgment calls, and nor am I going to try about what kind of sort of mental state he's in, but I can tell you there is a sense, there's this rage, but there is also just a sense of almost just confusion. And I don't know that he's confused about what's actually going on in the courtroom as much as he's more confused about why this is happening. Now, verbally out in public, he likes to scream about the Biden Justice Department, et cetera, et cetera. And, it makes perfect sense that he would view the Justice Department as Biden's because he very much viewed his Justice Department as Trump's. So he's unable to understand why the same ethical rules wouldn't apply. He thinks that every other president has treated that Justice Department as his personal playpen, or you know squad to annihilate anybody who he doesn't like. So there's like a process problem going on there. Now, um, there's a lot of talk about apparently there's like 500 people that are waiting to kind of go through this jury process. Um, as of right now, energetically, I am being told that that jury should be in place by, if not Friday, then at some point on Monday. Now, the way I understand it is this court is active on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday is sort of a down day. They're not in court that day. But I'm being told Friday or Monday at the latest. So that's not long. I mean, some people are saying the jury can be sat in a couple of days. Other people are saying it's going to take weeks and weeks. From what I understand, the E. Jean Carroll jury, it only took a couple of days to seat it. And I mean, I don't, maybe there's different thresholds or whatever for civil versus criminal, but I'm just not feeling like this is going to drag on and on and on and on. Um, and once again, I'm being told, I've said this, I think the third time I've said it. As of right now, it looks like energetically the jury is going to be actually very balanced. There's going to be a balance between male and female. There's going to be sort of a diverse ethnic grouping people, and so it feels like that jury is going to be like balanced. Like it doesn't look or feel like it's weighing in one direction more than the other direction. I think is what I'm trying to say. Now, I do believe I have also said this before that I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere within the first week or week and a half there is a delay. Now, this delay feels like a 1 day delay because somebody is sick or somebody can't make it to court. And I'm talking, when I say that, I'm talking about the judge, one of the lawyers. If the jury is in place by then, one of the jurors. This does not feel like the thing is coming off the rails. It's not imploding. This feels very much like a bit of just a pause when you're not expecting a pause. Now, it could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong because I don't want anybody to be not able to go to work and do their job because they're sick. I'm not getting that energy around Trump. It's outside of him somewhere. As this case moves forward, you're going to see him not being able to control or contain his emotional responses. Now, he's never been able to, right? And frankly, I mean, it's the last court case where he just got up and stormed out of the courtroom because, he didn't like what was going on and he didn't wait for the jury to leave, he didn't wait for the judge to leave. He just got up and left because that's, what he thought he should do. Those kinds of outbursts are going to they're going to be tolerated in a very, very minimal way, and they're going to ultimately get him into trouble if he is not able to curb and control that those responses and reactions. You're going to see people talking about, rolling his eyes if he rolls his eyes, or pursing his lips, or shaking his head, or he's just not going to be able to stay like still and act like a responsible adult human being. I do see some volatility around that defense table, whether he is, throwing pencils down or he's huffing and puffing. But I'm seeing like real agitation as this thing goes on into week, 2 and 3. There's a real inability for him to be able to control what's happening now. As of right now, energetically, the prosecution is in a very, very good position in terms of being able to prove and win this case and get the verdict the prosecution is looking for, which would be guilty. Um, so there's like 34 counts and $1,000 to up to 4 years in jail per count. So what I want to say about that is he may, in fact, um, there may be some sort of jail time assigned in the judgment portion of the case where the penalty portion is sorted out. But I still don't see him going to jail. So whether he is allowed to stay out of jail when it's appealed, because of course he's going to appeal it, I'm not sure. But as of now, energetically, it looks like the prosecution wins. And it looks like whatever the penalties are somehow going to be paused or delayed because he's going to insist on continuing to fight this. So that's what's going on there. As this thing rolls out, this is going to be a document heavy case, right? I mean, this is about checks. It is about ledger entries. It's about accounting. Um, you're going to see him responding in a really negative way to there's going to Cohen um, and to um, Stormy Daniels, and I really would prefer to use her actual name, and I can't remember. It's Stephanie something. Um, but there's going to be and so he's going to have those reactions. But it also feels like there are going to be a couple of people that come on the stand who he sort of expects should kind of cover for him. Rona is one of them. She was one of the people who worked in his office for forever and ever. She was a vice president of something, I think. And Hope Hicks is another one, where there is a feeling that if they say anything that he perceives as, disloyal or a betrayal, you may also see some really um, forceful reactions to that. I can see the judge being very, very firm with him. I can see the judge threatening to have him removed from the courtroom. I can see the judge telling his lawyers to get their client under control, which is exactly what happened in previous cases, right? Including the one with Tish James. So that's the energy that is surrounding this situation right now as it is starting, as it is moving forward. Um, I am right now, I'm sort of I'm still energetically feeling like this thing is going to wrap up by the middle of June at the very latest. I really do feel that end of May or the very first week of June feels like when things are going to be wrapped up. Now, whether at that point it goes to the jury or whether by those dates it's actually completely settled. So what can I say? Well, expect volatility. Expect to see physical depletion or weakening of him as the days go on and on. It's going to look almost like he is um, sort of physically deteriorating in front of our eyes. Now, exhaustion, stress, indigestion, I mean, these things are going to have an effect. You're also going to see the sort of rambling, those little press conference things that he does outside of the courthouse. You're going to see those becoming and I don't know, I'm one of those people who actually mutes him. I can't listen to his voice, but so if you're one of those, I guess you're going to hear reports that say he's even more disjointed. Things aren't flowing. He's searching for words, and by and large, 99% of what comes out of his mouth is going to be a mischaracterization, a bold-faced lie, or so disjointed it doesn't make any sense. So nothing he says is actually going to be true or valid, but he's going to say it. You can also anticipate him, coming out with things like, like sort of those subtle threats, right? People won't tolerate this, or, there's going to be like trouble in the streets, whatever. By and large, he's actually not going to get the support from his fans that he thinks he's going to. Part of them, some of them are just going like, forget that. Like we saw how January 6th turned. I'm not going there. And part of it is that he's just overall losing steam. And what's happening is, unless they are really, really, really diehard fans, a lot of them they're not sitting it out as much, but they're not converging. Okay. So now, by and large, from what I can understand, New York is far more Democratic than it is Republican. So it may just be that there aren't huge volumes of Trump loving Republicans who live in the area, who have the time or the wherewithal to spend a whole bunch of time outside the court, causing a fuss. But that doesn't, for me, that doesn't feel like it's likely to manifest. So you can expect bad manners, you can expect outbursts, you can expect sort of a depleting of him. Um, and as this thing goes forward, you're going to see Judge Marchand being incredibly fair and very, very balanced with the rulings that he rules on, with the things he rules on. He is really going to come across as incredibly balanced, fair, mindful of the importance of this case, because it is, after all, the first criminal case of a previous president. Um, So you're not going to see anything that he does, the judge does, that actually really feels like it's out of bounds or out of whack. Now, that doesn't mean Trump's not going to scream and yell that it is, but realistically, it's not going to be. So we've all waited a long time, we're all waiting for Trump to finally get his due. I think it's important to remember that, yeah, he probably is going to. It's probably going to come at him from various ways. And karma's an interesting thing. It shows up in our lives, sometimes in a very immediate way, sometimes it takes a little longer, but sometimes it shows up in other experiences and other lifetimes. I'm not saying he's not going to get a karmic slap in the back of the head. I really believe he will. But it's also important to remember that in many ways, where he's at right now is the creation, it's his own creation. And ultimately, irregardless of what anybody thinks, he will pay that price, not only with his physical being, but in terms of his soul. So, I strongly recommend that for most people, you just kind of catch the um, evening news recap kind of situation, as opposed to immersing yourself in this. I think it'll kind of make you crazy. And that's what I know for right now. So, okay, don't forget, tomorrow's video is about the 1864 ruling out of about the abortion thing. So there's that. And don't forget to include any questions in the comment section below. You take good care. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.